morning, guys. Good morning, good morning, good morning. On this, what is it today? Is it Tuesday, right? Yeah, Tuesday. Morning on this good looking Tuesday. Sun shining out here, so maybe we get some late summer kind of things, but yeah. It's getting cold. It's getting cold. Hope everybody is doing well, guys. Hope everybody's doing well and holding up well. Uh, Thanks, Dabs. Yeah, I'm okay. Like I said, still busy through September with everything that's been going on. Um, but I'm kind of looking forward to October. Um, yeah, September 30 September, we have to like give back the house to the corporation that rents it. So until then, so it's the last things. How do you say it? Well, cleaning up the house. So yeah, for now, I do think once I get back to like more normal normality is what you call it, right? Then I think everything will be well. Maybe things will be kicking in then harder, but I'm also looking forward to just go back to well, routine. You guys know that I talk a lot about routine and how important it is, especially I think for everybody, but also for me, especially going into winters and autumn. I think not my favorite times of the year, right? So yeah, routine is good. Need to get back to the gym and all those kind of things. But yeah, all right. So guys, like I said the other day, for a big part on these talks, I'm going back to what they used to be. Like what I say here, ask your questions and speak your thoughts. Not saying I won't be doing any analysis and all those kind of things, but I do believe, like I said the other day, we do have some high top tier traders in here. Well, and I just don't want to. How do you say it? I don't want to go past the fact that there is a lot of people in here that are new, that have questions, and that might feel, well, too beginnery or something like that. Morning B, good to see you. So yeah, like I always say, please speak out loud in here. Ask your questions, speak your thoughts, speak your doubts, whatever it is you want to speak about, you can do in here. And at the same time, I will be talking about, well, everything that should be on your minds whenever you either start trading or following signals, and really focusing on that mindset part of it, because I do think, well, in my opinion, we have the best of all the worlds that you need in here, so we'll keep it that. So yeah, but whenever there's no questions, of course, I can talk for hours if you want. Won't do that. We'll start up slowly again, and of course we can look at charts, and we can look at the market as a whole. But like I said, whenever you feel like it, just feel free to ask, whether that's like a beginner question on how this Discord works, or on how to follow signals, or whether that's a technical analysis kind of question, or rather more psychologically mindset kind of questions. We can all talk about. We can talk about it all. I'm just waiting for Debs to finish what he's typing. I'm just seeing Dabs typing for like a couple of minutes now. So Dabs, get on with it. Oh, yeah, I read that. Just going to do my all just going to use. I think you mean all-time high, right? All-time high prices. Well, I think whether that's a good start or not, I do think if you look at yeah, okay, yeah, that's all good. I do believe that if you look at all-time highs from coins that you have in your portfolio, disregarding the likes of Solana and Paris, that would be like a gift if they ever get back to all-time high. I don't think they will. But it's crypto, so you never know. But I do believe all-time highs, not necessarily the point where you should be scaling out a lot, but it's good to just look for yourself what your price is or what your total portfolio worth is at all-time high. Now, I've been thinking about this a lot lately, of course, because we're going to get into the time where a lot of people, well, again, will start asking, okay, what's the plan? What's the plan that I have? Whether it's just following CB or looking at the macro charts and seeing, okay, now it's time to get out of the market. Morning, Drew. Morning, Jay. I honestly believe, I was thinking about it. I had a one-on-one last week with somebody and we talked a lot about, okay, these doubts you have when it comes to scaling out and what are targets for every coin and each and every coin. And I've been thinking about it a lot lately, and I do believe that the best way forward, if you want to have a plan, is to plan it based on your total portfolio value. And why? Because I do think that if you look at like per coin, there's always coins that lag. There's always coins that pump harder than the rest. So if you base your exits on your total portfolio value at certain points or certain goals, then you don't have to focus too much on coins, but you can focus on your total value. And then once that first goal is hit, let's say you started with 5K and your first goal is double your investment, 2K, and then you take out 10%. So once your portfolio value doubles, you're going to look at, okay, what's been the strongest coin lately? What coin has been lagging? What coin is shit? And you take that 10% out of not necessarily one coin, but out of different coins. And then you have the next goal could be 3 times or 4 times. So just like that, trying to figure out if that is for you the best way to do. But I get also what you say, Dabs, is just to see if all-time high might cover your investment. But I do believe it's a good start to look at, okay, what, and maybe for some people to get your doubts out of the way, because I do believe that majority of the coins will hit their all-time high again. Especially if you have a well-balanced portfolio, not if you're full porting pairs or whatever you did full port. If you do have a well-balanced portfolio, I definitely believe majority will hit all-time high. So yeah, for all the meme coin gamblers that full ported the millionaire challenge of TMP, yeah, you might get lucky. But chances are bigger you won't. So yeah, I do believe that. So if you ask me, and if we talk about scaling out and what point, again, the most important part, rather than talking about the plan, the most important part is that you keep focusing on your own circumstances. So you will see at some point when things really start heating up, you will see left, right, and center in this Discord portfolios being tossed around. That's the part. Well, that's just a part of how it works. It's going to happen, not only here and on X, on the socials. The trick is, or what you need to do, is that you need to keep focusing on your own circumstances. So what does you as a person, with the environment that you live in, your family, your work, your whatever it is, what is your goal with the investment that you have? Because the goal cannot be generational wealth if you put in 5K, for example. So you got to be realistic about it. You got to be realistic about your returns, and you got to keep asking yourself, okay, if I put this kind of money in, how much do I want to take out? Is 100x realistic? No, it's not realistic. Is it 10x realistic? Yep. Basically, yes, I would say, especially from the bottom. From today's value, I definitely believe 10x is something. And of course, we had this conversation in the past. We had this conversation, and I know it. We had this conversation also in the first quarter of 2024. But I still believe that it is like that. And when I said in 2024 that we had still, and I basically, we talked about this when we were like macro topping. Do I still believe we can see targets being met that I had way back then? I honestly believe that can happen because, again, guys, this is crypto and it's not a guarantee, but shit can do, well, it can do numbers, and it could do like moon numbers. It's a minefield trying to get estimates what projects could get to stand more chance. Yeah, that's right, Justin. That's right. Now, but that's true. It's just hard. It's hard to get estimates, but you gotta take into account what can happen. Again, and now I'm talking about Solana again because, well, that's like one of, and I will look, if you want, guys, over the next couple of weeks, I will look up some more. How do you say that? I will look up some more examples. But again, if you look back at Solana in last bull run, it did a run up, then it did an 80% drop, and then it did a 220x from the bottom. I'm not saying 220%, which is only a 2.2x. Now I'm saying 20,000%, which is 220 times its value from the lows. Now you can never time those bottoms and you never can time those tops. But imagine everybody who bought the top on Sol, and then when it went 80% down, they sold. And now imagine the people who bought the top on Solana and then DCA down all to the bottom. And then from the bottom, it went up 220x. Now ask yourself, okay, what person do you rather want to be? Do you want to be that person that sold the bottom and then it's getting sidelined and will eventually probably scale up back higher? Or you want to be that person who DCA down? What's the risk, right? Again, I always talk about risk and how much money you have involved, and you shouldn't have money involved in this game that you're banking on, that you need in your day-to-day life for your expenses. If you make your life like being tied to the outcome of this bull run, well, then you have a hard task handling yourself. Then you would probably have a lot of stress right now, right? But yeah, I honestly believe that the DCAers that DCA in will be the big winners. Because imagine if, of course, there's different circumstances, but imagine if you still holding, but you hadn't been able to DCA down. So basically, let's say all-time high would be break even, right? On most coins. And not every coin is going back to all-time high. So you need a lot more upside to make less profit. But I do still think that even everybody that bought the top did hold through the lows, did not add, will at least make some profits eventually in this, when the bull run and the alt season really comes. Well, bull run is still in it, but yeah, so again, recap. If you want to have a plan, I would say base it on total port value rather than just per coin. Targets is going to be very hard, but you got to look at market caps on some coins and say, okay, if this goes to a certain market cap, that's a price. Well, dabs, and yeah, if you don't, just get on the one-to-ones, right? I'll talk some sense into your head. Nah, but I think that's what you need to do. You got to be level-headed. You got to be sensible, and you got to be realistic of the outcome. So yeah. Well, you guys are all in. That means at least I have some work to do in the one-on-ones when this shit goes tits up, right? But I don't believe it goes tits up. Big G, do I see the top being this year or 2026? Yeah, again, impossible to tell. We can look like Bitcoin chart on the weekly. Well, maybe I'll show you here. It is. Maybe it's good to look at the total. I do believe total market cap has some room to go, even if you take these lowest wicks. But yeah, again, total 2, we rejected that total. We rejected that first all-time high here. This is the monthly. Look at the weekly, I like it more. We're rejecting all-time high at the moment. So yeah, we want to eventually see that break above. But the question, of course, if we can, we can look at Bitcoin and say, okay, we're waiting for the next move up. But yeah, the question is, will the top, and of course, if you look at like previous bull runs, Bitcoin had a top at some point, but it was not the top of the total market, because usually when Bitcoin tops out and it starts moving sideways, that's when you see the real moves happening. But yeah, as long as we're here in this like sort of sideways, there is a good chance that we do going to see these lows taken, which coincides with the 200 EMA. But yeah, also still like lagging and yeah, not really strong, but hopefully, yeah, like I said, hopefully we'll see some real craziness going forward. Again, whether that going to be this next quarter or it's going to be going into 2026, we don't know. All we can base ourselves off is the previous bull run, previous cycles, and that would give the cycle around October, November cycle top for Bitcoin. So yeah, I do believe if we follow on that, if we follow like that cycle, we're in the end stages right now, and if you take that and take into account the macroeconomics, the first rate cuts that have been done last week. Let's see how the market reacts when we get like the next rate cut, probably last year. What the fuck? Yeah, it's still early, guys. Probably next month. I think in October there should be another rate cut, but we have to see. There's like that's the only thing we can do, and we can only be prepared, knowing what we want out of this bull run. And I do believe there's a lot of people now say, yeah, even if I get back to break even, I'm out. If I get break even, I'm out. But honestly, probably when you get back to break even, you're buzzing that you got back to break even, and then you feel positive, and then you think, okay, you know what, I'll keep holding on. But I do believe you're a thief of your own money if you will be scaling out everything at break even. Of course, at some point you'll have to start taking profits, because the hardest part again is what we are going to witness once everything starts pumping and everything goes up, and you're checking your portfolio like every hour, and every hour you get this dopamine hit of seeing another 10% added to your portfolio value. I agree, Lou. And again, if you went through all this blood with DCAing down, you still might not be at break even, but you will be at break even a lot sooner. Than the people who didn't DCA down, and especially the people that capitulated on the lows and on time, because it's both, and we can talk about this also. Like, there is time capitulation and there's like price capitulation. Price capitulation, people selling when it's 80-90% down. But I honestly believe, like, last 2 months, you have seen the time capitulation of people. Well, just look at the Discord as a whole and how not active a lot of people are. I mean, where's everybody gone? I used to have like hundreds of messages, notifications to check, but now I can just go do my thing like half the morning and then come back and then have 4 messages to read or something like that. So that tells me something. That tells me, well, not necessarily something. It tells me a lot about how people are involved or not. So it stands, and I've said this before, it is like, it's like a thermometer for how do you say that? Who cares? It's like you can see how busy things are in here and how people are acting. Basically, you can tell, okay, where we are in the market. Yes, there will be an influx of people once retail gets on it again. That's when you start seeing everything heating up again, and people waking up and asking about what should I do with my Fidium, and I still have some RFox, what should I do with that? And then I'm going crazy again. And now I am emotionally unstable, but not because of you guys asking the same goddamn question over and over again, or any bridges or people who haven't been in here for ages. So yeah, as long as they don't come back, retail's not in yet. And the top's not in yet. And again, you gotta understand, even if you doubt, it's not weird to doubt, because doubting is part of this process. It's part of this market where the market is making you doubt that it's ever going to come. What I think the biggest catalyst, I think what macro, if you look at the macro views going on right now, there is so much more, how do you say it? There's so much more crypto involvement just in regular things, right? There's been more and more talks. But I'm not sure what the big catalyst is going to be. Maybe it's just the fact that Bitcoin is going to smash all-time high and then going higher than everybody expects or something like that. So honestly, I don't have, at this point, don't have a real clue. There is a lot of going on with ETFs from different coins, etc. So, yeah. At some point, it's just all, how do you say it? It's all the stories alike, and it gets pushed by, how do you say it? News and mainstream media, all those kind of things, to lure people back in. Yeah, exactly, Dabs. I do agree that it's mad. But some people just pay for a year and then forget, and then after a year they come back and say, yeah, I want a refund because it took out and I didn't do anything. Man, if you did do something that year, you would at least would have gotten, you probably profited of getting your money back. It's very hard to stay locked in when it's all red. I have really tried to keep up to date, stay involved, read, etc. But life, emotion, psychology, whatever, maybe it's pushing you away, a bit like an ostrich burying its head. Yeah, that's the way to cope, Miko. Exactly. And I think that's what a lot of people do. The hardest thing is basically selling in red. But why people sell in red is that if you don't sell, you get that feeling that you just described. So you keep sort of involved, but you don't want to be involved because you don't want to see those red numbers and thinking about how much less value your coins are today that they were when they were at all-time high. And that's why I say, please, and of course we're not there yet, but please just make an overview of all your coins and just see what the value is at all-time high. Because the chances are big coins are going to back to their all-time highs, and some will even smash their all-time highs like it's nothing. So that's like a sort of exercise you can do to practice to show, okay, what would that be worth and would I be happy with that? So yeah, it's kind of hard. Yeah, but the only thing you can do, Chris, is just zone out and leave them be. People will always have an opinion, and especially when their opinion seems like true, because of course maybe you have 60% less value, and they will say, yeah, I just kept it in the bank, it would just still be 60% more right now, right? That's true. At this point, that's true, and that's why you shouldn't be too much involved with other people, and just work in silence, grind in silence, and leave other people be. Finance pardon, yeah, could be. Yeah, I agree, B. I agree. It's better to not tell too many people. Uh, yeah, exactly, Dabs. I do agree on that. Everybody in here should do it, and I'm glad to see 25 people today. Last week it was like only 10, so yeah, people are waking up again. Even LJ's in here. LJ, good to see you. How are you coping? Hope you're good. Um, um, Fuck that. Nah, fuck that. It's a liquidity drainer, and that's like, yeah, we're at Liberty Finance. You bought in, Miko. You bought in. Hopefully, you already sold, and it's not another I marry this coin bag. You gotta, how do you say it, guys? You gotta understand. This is something I talk about on the course, the exit plan course that I'm doing right now. You gotta understand that you gotta emotionally detach from your bags, and of course that's like, well, hard, especially, and that also happens in this Discord. Let's talk about NPCS, XNPCS, EPEP, and all the coins we're holding. Whether you like it or not, whether you want it or not, we are also biased, and we try to be as much unbiased as we can, but it's a human nature trick. It's a thing in your brains that always looks for shortcuts. So whether you like it or not, you are not fully objective when you look at your portfolio. And it's something to take into account. And I'm not saying we're talking gibberish or we're not talking facts when we talk about the coins and the conviction we have in it, but you have to understand that, well, being in a coin will start to make you feel like you're part of a group, part of a community that's relying on that coin. So it becomes harder and harder to sell. Let's take NPCS, for example. We have been in that for a long time. We even wrote it up. A lot of us wrote it up to 40 million, didn't sell a dime. And now, well, what are we now? 3 million, 4 million? That's a 10x, right? No, a lot of us didn't take profits. Why? Because everybody was shouting, going higher. And in regards to the future, but also the feeling that we are together as a community, backing NPCS, XNPCS, whatever, doing all these things to try to get as much from the supply as possible, all those kind of things. All these things together will make you feel like you're, how do you say it? it will make you feel that it becomes nearly impossible to sell at another point than what everybody tells you to. But if you well, Chris, it's not necessarily of changing your targets. It does not matter. The question is, are you able to like to detach yourself from that community feeling? Because again, what I started with today, focus on your own circumstances. Not everybody needs 100x, and not every coin will do 100x. But if you get to 40 million back all-time high on NPCS, and you don't skim profits, at least I think that's a stupid thing to do. Even though altogether we believe that it's definitely going higher with everything people put in and with all the work the team is doing, etc. But you can't have exactly be your own individual circumstances. That is what you need and set your goals on. And it doesn't matter. And that's why I say don't hang it too much. Don't focus it or put it too much on a certain market cap of a certain coin, but focus on that total, focus on that total portfolio value. So don't focus only on NPCS. Don't focus only on Rio or anyone or Tau or COSP or whatever. Focus on your total portfolio value and then just scale out accordingly. That's, I think, in my opinion, the best way forward, the most objective way forward. And then still it becomes hard, because if you get to a point that you are at your first goal, you need to take out money, especially that first take profit. It's going to feel, and it's called loss aversion. People will hesitate to sell because it will feel like a loss. If you, let's say something went 10x and then you sell everything, or you take it out, it won't feel like you're making 10x of money. It will feel like you have lost if it goes on and on and on. Again, I'll take that example of me in last bull run, starting with like 1,500 euros and making 50k unrealized profits, and then going down, and eventually banking like 15k profits. That didn't feel like it didn't, and that's why eventually I lost it all, because it didn't feel like I've won. It felt like I lost, because I lost all these unrealized profits, right? And it goes also the other way around. What if people did sell that 50k and then it went on becoming 100k or 150k? That's what you lose out on, and that feels harder. That negative thought, the losses, they emotionally and psychologically and even physically, they weigh harder on you than the actual profits you make. But if I tell you today you're going to end up the bull run with 10x the amount you put in total investment, I think a lot of you will be happy campers, right? So stick that into your head. When the time comes that you are emotionally sucked into this euphoria phase that's going to come, remember what I say today. So if today I'll ask you, would you be happy with a 10x of your total investment over the last couple of years? Then be happy with that. But I also believe that if you're not putting in the works, and if you're not knowing how these emotions work and how it works for you, and if you are not able to be aware of how that works, then there's a big chance that when you get to that 10x on total investment, well, that you mess it up eventually, because the 10x is going to be 20x. So yeah, and I do believe that's still the possibility. Again, majority of you guys haven't been through a euphoric stage of the bull run. The last 4 years, we did not have euphoric stages in the bull run. And I believe shit's going to pop off at some point, and you guys will be like, you can't fathom how that is. It's not. Nah, fuck off, LJ. Just don't think like that. 2 times is not a miracle. Honestly, I don't believe that. But it's the way you speak to yourself that eventually will have an effect on how you act at certain points. So don't talk to yourself like that's a miracle, because then you put too much weight on it. Just be objective. Look at, and I will do that over the coming sessions. I will look up some coins that people thought were dead, and then, well, they searched from their ashes and they made, well, decent gains. So honestly, again, guys, it's all between your ears. It's all under the hood of your head, where you need to, well, do the right things to get into the right mindset, right? No, it's not how it feels. It's how you weigh on it that it makes you feel like that. It's the way you talk about it, the way you talk to yourself about it. And I honestly believe that you can change that. But that's maybe a subject for the other time, because I have some marketplace people coming over in a bit, getting some last furniture out of the house of mom. So good thing to talk. Yeah, marketplace. Yeah, just like, man, you guys don't have that. Like, it's like Facebook group, but it's called Marktplaats in Dutch. You just put things on and people can buy it from you or get it for free. Isn't that marketplace? Yeah, LJ. Yeah, fuck that. LJ, get out under that rock. Anyways, oh, fuck my life. Yeah, I thought so. It's just, I thought I was going crazy. All right, guys. Yeah, we are. And that's what everybody's on about. Yeah, I think so. Anyways, guys, glad to see much more people in here. I'll probably do a session the rest of the week every morning. So, yeah, feel free to join me. I will upload these sessions into the recording session and recording section, I say, if you want to look or listen back. Thanks, guys. Have a good day, and we'll talk again soon. Ciao, ciao. Bye-bye.